Hey, and welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday night and we are live. We are live every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we upload 4 times a week here on the channel, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if you have not hit the subscribe button yet, take a second and do that. Ring the notification bell. That way you won't miss any of our recipes, our tips, all of that. Listen, six and a half years ago, I started a journey of weight loss for the bazillionth time, being a weight loss failure. And for the first time in my life, I wound up succeeding, losing 161 pounds in 13 months. And right here on this channel, we give tips on a weekly basis on how I did that. And so tonight, so I say all that to say, if you are on a weight loss journey, if you are on a health journey, if you are where I was, which is on that hamster wheel, being frustrated, jumping from diet to diet, make sure you hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, check out some of our other videos because these things work. They helped me go from a size 22 down to a size 2. Are you with me? Tonight we are going to talk about one of the biggest myths when it comes to weight loss. Listen, there's a lot of myths out there. And what I call a myth is something that I've heard that other people tell me or have told me or I read that works and that is more hype than results. It's more rah, rah, rah than results. Like if you just, for so long, this particular one we're going to talk about tonight, I got hung up on. And we are about to enter a brand new year. And there's a whole bunch of people that are going to make this very same mistake. And when you make this mistake, it makes getting results very, very hard. So what I'm going to talk about tonight, what we're going to talk about tonight is motivation. Motivation. And where does motivation come from? How do you get motivated when you're not motivated? And how does motivation, what role does motivation actually play in weight loss? And so first I want to start with how I used to see motivation. Like I saw motivation as like something I could catch, something I could get. And so often I would, I don't even know how many times I started a weight loss diet or a weight loss program, or I was going to go to the gym, or I was going to work out, all those things that you're supposed to do when you're losing weight. Been there, done that. I'm sure you have too, many times. And so often I would be sitting here waiting on motivation. I'd be like, all right, because I'm like morbidly obese. I should be motivated to lose weight. I should be motivated to work out. I should be motivated to go to the gym. And I would sit here and wait on motivation like it was a pizza being delivered. Like it was, me going to the store and buying something. Motivation can get you started, but it's never what's going to keep you going. Why? Because motivation is fleeting. And motivation doesn't happen to you by accident. Motivation is actually, and this is something I've learned through business, through weight loss, and to succeed at anything, you've got to be most people think, let me say that, you have to be motivated to do it. And so some of the things I'm going to talk to you about tonight, you might sit there and scratch your head and go, I don't really know about that, Carmen. I completely understand if that's you, because that was me a decade ago. If someone would have told me I could actually lose weight without being motivated, or I could go work out without being motivated, I would have thought you were smoking crack. Like, no, you got to be motivated. Like if you're not motivated to do it, you're not going to do it. But that is completely false. And so hopefully I'm going to lay this out in a way tonight that is short, to the point, and that you can actually leave this video and go, yeah, I've been making that same mistake too, but no more. Okay. So here's the thing with motivation. Motivation follows commitment, not the other way around. And motivation can come in small doses. When we get inspired, motivation actually follows inspiration, but it doesn't last. Motivation doesn't last. So you have to keep yourself in a place. It's like brushing your teeth, right? If I brush my teeth today, does that mean I don't have to do it again tomorrow? No. Like it's only good until, if I brush my teeth in the morning, it's only good until I eat all day. And then I got to brush my teeth again. Why? Because there's teeth in there. There's food that I'm putting in my mouth. There's drinks that I'm drinking. Same thing. I can be motivated this morning, and then I go out and I face life, the world, people, my job, my boss, my coworkers, my kids, my spouse, all the things in life that try to tear us down, knock us down, demotivate us, our previous bad habits. And so I can be motivated this morning. I can wake up and be like, yes, I'm inspired, I'm committed, I'm motivated. Why? Because motivation always follows. It never comes first. We never get motivated first. We get inspired and committed before we get motivated. And then motivation comes after that. However, motivation is like a sail. You can get your sail knocked down. And so motivation is something you have to stay inspired and stay committed to stay motivated. I'm going to repeat that again. You have to stay inspired and stay motivated you have to stay inspired, stay committed to stay motivated. So can you see the problem? Can you see the problem? We sit around and we're like, oh, Lord, let me be motivated, or whoever, give me motivation. We do our daily affirmations. I want to be motivated. I want to be motivated. We do all these, we sit around and we wait on motivation. And if you're waiting on motivation to come get you, you are going to be waiting a freaking lifetime. And this was me. This is why I spent over a decade of my life as an adult overweight, because I thought that if I was going to lose weight, I had to be motivated. If I was going to work out, I had to be motivated. No, motivation is never going to, and I'm hitting this one hard on motivation because I'm sure some of you, one of you, two of you, three of you, somebody besides me is hard-headed. And there's many of you that have been sitting around like I was, waiting to be motivated, thinking that if you weren't motivated, you couldn't go work out. If you weren't motivated, you couldn't eat your vegetables. If you weren't motivated, you couldn't drink that shake. If you weren't motivated, you couldn't actually watch YouTube videos that are going to help give you tips and strategies on how to lose weight. Motivation is a choice, and it follows commitment and inspiration. And so let's talk about that for a second. How do you get inspired? You watch things like what you're watching tonight. You watch transformation stories. We have in the new year, so here in just less than a month, we have I want to say program, our first season of The Biggest Transformation, where I'm going to be working with a very small group of people on a very intimate level. And you are going to be seeing their transformations live on this channel every single Wednesday. They're going to be weighing in. You're going to see their struggles. You're going to see their changes. You're going to see the areas they're doing good, the areas they're doing bad. You're going to see all that up close and personal. And you're going to see these individuals transform their life inside of 90 days, transform their bodies, transform their minds inside of 90 days. So if you make a habit to start watching that on Wednesdays, you're going to get inspired. Why? Because we're inspired by seeing somebody else do it. We're inspired by seeing somebody else get results. We are inspired when we watch other people have success, even if they struggle. We get inspired when we watch other people overcome. And so I cannot tell you how many hundreds of videos of transformations I have watched over the years. How many hundreds of people I have watched say, you can do it. I was a weight loss failure. I was overweight and I lost the weight. How many different magazines I looked at with before and after pictures that inspired me to take action. Typically inspiration or desperation, one or the other, sometimes both, are behind us taking action. But then there's commitment. There is commitment. And let me just tell you, the more committed you are, the luckier you get. The more committed you are, some people are like, oh, Carmen, you're just lucky. You're just one of those lucky ones that lost the weight. No, I was one of the committed ones, and luck follows commitment. Motivation follows commitment. So commitment, this is what commitment looks like. Commitment looks like doing your workout when you don't want to. Knowing that when you get started on a weight loss program, when you start working out, if you join a weight loss boot camp, or even for the people joining our biggest transformation 90-day challenge, Like, there are going to be times on any road to success, whether it's weight loss, health, marriage, parenting, finances, your job, whatever it is, there are going to be days you want to quit. There are going to be moments you want to quit. Like, there's days I hear my kids and I'm like, I just want to hit the pause button. And I love being a mom. It is the greatest job on the planet. I love my kids. I'm so blessed that I get to be a mom and that God gave me these 3 little individual human beings that I get to raise. Like, it's amazing. But there's moments I don't want to. There's moments I don't, when Mom, I just want to be like, no. There are moments I don't want to be a wife, right? And I love my husband. You know, it doesn't, loving them has nothing to do with sometimes I just want to call in hooky, right? And you can't do that for mom and a wife. So there are times on any path where you're going to want to quit. So it's not, when you have a wrong expectation of motivation, we expect to be motivated all the time. No, commitment is doing what you should do, not what you want to do. It's doing what you should do. It's doing what you need to do, not what you want to do. And so when you're losing weight, I might want to eat Popeyes, but I should eat the grilled chicken breast and the broccoli. I want to skip my workout and sleep in, but I should get up and move my body 30 minutes today. I want to drink a cookies and cream milkshake from Chick-fil-A. What I should drink is my superfood shake that's gonna nourish my body and help with my hair, my nails, and my skin as I lose weight. So there's always a difference between what we want to do and what we should do. And typically what we want to do leads us down a completely different path. So I wound up 288 pounds by doing what I wanted to do. I wound up as a morbidly obese mother busting out of a size 22 by following what I wanted to do. And your wants are dictated by your habits. It's a whole nother whatever video. However, you've got to strengthen that muscle that you're not always listening to the want tos. And you start listening to the what I should do, not what I want to do. And that is called commitment. Commitment is come heck or high water, no matter what obstacles, no matter what I want to do, I'm going to do what I should do. No matter, I'm not going to listen to my feelings. I'm going to listen to what I should do. I'm not going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do what I should do. Again, that's what commitment looks like. And when you are committed, motivation follows commitment. So when I started losing weight, the first 90 days, I was committed. But I wasn't fully motivated. And commitment and motivation, they kind of egg each other on. And when you have commitment and then the motivation comes along, they join together and they form this thing, and it ends up being, it's momentum is what ends up happening because you have commitment. Now you're inspired. Now you're motivated. And then they all form together to make this magic little ball, and momentum begins to happen. So when my first 90 days of losing weight, I lost I believe it was 38 pounds. My first 90 days. That's great. That's amazing. That's awesome. My second 90 days, I was already, so imagine I started at 208 pounds. I lost, let's say, we'll just make easy numbers, 40 pounds. So I weighed less coming into the second 90 days. Based on statistics and body mass, my BMI, I should have lost less the second 90 days. But I actually lost more. I actually lost 46 pounds that second, 46 or 48, I always get the numbers miscombobulated. 46 to 48 pounds those second 90 days. I lost significantly more my second 90 days when I should have lost less. Why? Because the first 90 days, I was committed. But my motivation, again, motivation follows commitment. So I wasn't working out because I wanted to. I was working out because I should, not because I want to. I wasn't drinking my superfood shake that's going to help me and blah, blah, because I wanted to. I was doing it because I should. I wasn't meal planning and watching what I put in my mouth because I wanted to. It was because I should, not because I wasn't doing what I wanted to. I was doing what I should do. And so after 90 days of doing that, being consistent, being committed, watching things like this on the regular, keeping inspired, those things created momentum. That's how I lost 161 pounds in 13 months, by staying committed, staying plugged into things like this. And so if you have been somebody that has been sitting there waiting to be motivated, you're going to be waiting for a long time. You're going to be stuck on the sidelines watching everybody else get the results that you so desperately want. It's time to stop waiting on motivation and start manufacturing it. Manufacturing means to go create it, to go build it, to go make it. When you can become the master of making motivation, of manufacturing motivation, listen, if you're waiting on somebody else or something else to inspire you, which is typically what we're waiting on, is somebody or something else to inspire us or to motivate us. I should say motivate. When you're waiting on somebody or something else to motivate you, that means somebody else is in charge. You are giving somebody else the power of your destiny. Here you go, you're in charge of my destiny. Instead of you being in charge. You're making somebody else in charge and putting the pressure on them for your weight, for your health, for all of that, versus you being in control. And there's a freedom that comes with that. Like at first it was kind of like, dang, you mean I have to make motivation? Like it doesn't just happen to me or for me? Like that sucks. But then I was like, wait, that's actually pretty awesome. Because there's so many times I was waiting on motivation and it never showed up. So many times I was waiting to be motivated and I never got motivated, so I never took action. When I found out that I could be committed and that the motivation would follow the commitment, it was like, okay, I can be committed. I can do the hard things. I don't want to do the things I should do, but I can do them. Are you with me? Like I didn't like working out, but I can do it. I can struggle through it. I can get through it. I don't like it, but I can do it. And so when I started doing that and the motivation happened, it was the craziest thing to me, because all of a sudden I started being more motivated than I had ever been. I had never been motivated in weight loss more than a day, 2 days, a week. I would get a little motivation, and then it would leave. And when the motivation left, I was like, well, I guess this isn't for me. What it left me thinking was this wasn't the right diet for me, because if it was the right thing for me, then I would just be motivated. And it breaks my heart. Like I work with clients and I watch them jump around from diet to diet to diet, cleanse to that cleanse, to this shake, to this coach, to this expert, to this professional, to da-da-da-da-da. They lose a little bit here, they lose a little bit there, they lose a little bit here, they gain it all back. They're constantly hopping around. Why? Because they're addicted to that feeling of motivation. They're addicted to the feeling of inspiration. And so they jump around, they have this short-term inspiration, this short-term motivation, and as soon as the motivation leaves, they stop. Never realizing that the motivation is always short-term motivation is always going to leave. Short-term inspiration is always going to leave. You and I are responsible for creating it and maintaining it and manufacturing it. And when you realize that, oh my goodness, you will watch the weight, you will watch it drop, you'll watch it fall. You will watch, even if you have had a lifetime of struggling like I did, you will watch it do a 180 and completely turn around when you realize you are the manufacturer of motivation. Nobody else or no one else or nothing else can get you motivated long term. You have got to do that. And once you learn how to do it, see, the unique thing, the cool thing, the amazing thing about having a skill is once you have that skill, nobody can take it away from you. So once you master motivating yourself, once you learn how to do it, nobody can take that skill from you. And you just became unstoppable with anything you put your mind to. Because now you're no longer waiting to be motivated. You've learned how to motivate yourself. And listen, last thing I want to say before we wrap up is this does take some practice. It doesn't happen in a day. Many of us have the habit of waiting on motivation to happen to us or for us. We don't have the habit of creating it. Many of us have the habit of quitting or not acting when we're not motivated. versus many of us have the habit of doing what we want to do, not what we should do. And so it takes a second to make the shift. It takes a second to get your habits wrapped around this new thing you're hearing. And so it does take a second. But right now, at least you're aware of it. See, 10 years ago, 7 years ago, I wasn't even aware of this. And if you're not aware of it, you can't even start to change it. You can't even do anything about it. And so it might take a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 30 days. But at least once you start doing it, in my case, it took about 90. It took 90 days of being committed for that motivation to come. And then once that motivation came, I was no longer tempted as much. I shouldn't say no longer. I wasn't tempted as much by all the old bad habits. I wasn't tempted as much by not working out. I wasn't tempted as much by those want tos. I was motivated to do the should do's. It was no longer as much of a struggle. And so that's on the other side for you. If you can be committed, plug into things like this to stay inspired. Go watch some before and afters, some weight loss before and afters. Look at some before and afters. They'll inspire you. They will. Some of them, I mean, I can remember nights watching them and I would just sit there and like the ugly cry watching some of these transformations. You can't watch other people succeed in the area you want to succeed for a long time and not get inspired by that. And we all need inspiration. Even I still need inspiration after losing the weight and maintaining it. We all need to be inspired. And so anyway, next week, make sure to tune in. We will be doing how to get through Christmas and actually how to create some traditions that don't focus just on food. So we're going to talk about the holidays. We're going to talk about weight loss. We're going to talk about Christmas and all of that. It's going to be a really good, it's just going to be good. So make sure to join us for that. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, make sure to do that. Give the video a thumbs up. Thanks so much for